We are live.
Thanks, Stacy. Good evening.
Let me share my.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I am going to call the regular meeting of council for April 26, 2021 to order. You have before you a copy of tonight's agenda. We are going to remove item 10 in camera as we don't have anything. So I'm looking for a motion to adopt the agenda as presented. Councillor Dufert, seconded by Councillor Chambers. All in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Item number 3, do we have any declarations of interest for tonight's discussion? Okay, none being noted. We'll move on to item number 4, announcements, awards, ceremonies, and presentations. Do we have anything from council? Another quiet week, guys. With that, I'll pass it over to SAO Smith.
No announcements from administration, Your Honor.
Okay, I guess one thing for me is to acknowledge all the hard work of our administration with the flood planning and that. I know it is time consuming and lots of work goes into the effort. So yeah, plan for the worst, hope for the best, and thanks for all you're doing, guys. Do appreciate it. Moving on to item number 5, adoption of the minutes. Item 5A, regular meeting of council, March 29th, 2021. Looking for a motion. Councillor Dufert, go ahead. You're on mute.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll move that the Council of the Town of Hay River accept the minutes of the regular meeting of council, March 29th, 2021.
Thank you. Second by Deputy Mayor Bouchard. Any questions? None being noted. All in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Item 5B, regular meeting of council minutes dated April 12th, 2021. Looking for a motion to adopt. Go ahead, Councillor Chambers.
Thank you, Worship. I'll move that the Council of the Town of Hay River accept the regular meeting minutes of April 12th, 2021 as presented.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Dufert. Any questions to the motion? None being noted. All in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Item number 6 is information only item. Any comments, or we don't need a motion on this, or do we? Keith, my police there? No, didn't think so. No. So just for information purposes, but are there any questions or comments on the report, our CMP monthly report? None being noted. I have had a couple complaints, and I guess it might be timely to meet with Mr. Pilipow about the speed of our CMP vehicles when they're responding to calls. So especially in residential neighborhoods. So I will bring that up the next time I sit down and have a chat with him. Moving on to item number 7, administrative inquiry. So I'll pass it over to SAO Smith.
Thank you, Worship. We will start this week with the Director of Finance, please.
Good evening, and thank you, Worship. SAO Smith and I met with the Finance Committee on Friday to review drafts of the financial statements and review the fees and charges bylaw. I'm anticipating bringing those statements to Council on May 11th. This will allow us time to finish allocating reserves for the year, make some minor adjustments coming from the Finance Committee, and give the GNWT time to review those statements. We're also preparing for an upcoming land disposal. So on April 30th at 10 a.m., we're disposing of 3 residential properties located on Saskatoon Drive. So that will be done via ballot draw as I said, 10 a.m. in council chambers. Further information is available on the town's website. Beyond that, we're continuing our work, rolling forward the prior year transactions and getting our Q1 financial statements ready to roll. So that should be coming immediately after we get the audited financial statements before you. Also in May, we'll be bringing forward the mill rate recommendations as we're looking to levy taxes at the end of that month. That concludes my updates. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Any questions from council for our Director of Director of Finance? None being noted. Back to SAO Smith.
Thank you, Worship. The Director of Recreation, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A few updates for this week. Swimmer numbers continue to be good in the Aquatic Center. We had 199 swimmers last week, so they continue to be high, and we're very happy with that. They're a little down from spring break in the previous 2 weeks, which is understandable given that kids were back in school, but numbers continue to be good. We launched last week the multi-sport drop-in program in the Aurora Ford Arena and the Hay River Curling Club Arena. We have equipment out there for multiple sports, including pickleball, badminton, ball hockey, indoor soccer, basketball. It's a big success so far, particularly after school. We have between 15 and 30 kids dropping in after school to use the equipment and to be active. We're making some changes to the programming to ensure that kids can be active in a safe and supervised manner. But I think that's going to be well received, particularly by parents of younger kids. We plan to continue that multi-sport drop-in programming until the end of the school year at the very least, and I expect it to be well attended until that time. Our after-school program continues. Numbers are slightly down for the after-school program, but registrations are still above our minimum requirements, and we will continue with that programming also. A few staffing updates. We did interviews for a rec programmer and our head customer service clerk position. Both positions, we did the interviews last week. We're completing reference checks, and we expect to be making job offers fairly shortly. We had some very good candidates there, and we're happy with the results of the interviews, and we hope to move forward shortly. We had 2 junior lifeguards start training this Saturday. They're doing training with some of our more senior lifeguards throughout this week, and we're happy to add them to the team. We did have one of our senior lifeguards resign, and her last day of work was last week. One of our lifeguards has decided to return to post-secondary or explore post-secondary options. Timing was fairly good for us, given that we have a returning summer student lifeguard that will be starting work on Monday. So we only have a week where our aquatics supervisor and other senior lifeguard are filling the gaps there. Programming is not affected by that short vacancy. We will be advertising for that position for a full-time permanent replacement, but we're in a good position until the end of the summer, given that summer student returning. We are also progressing well in summer student recruitment. Received some good news that I'm assuming SAO Smith will share regarding funding. Recruitment is progressing well, as I said. We received many resumes, and we're working with the HR manager to fill those positions. I've been spending a bit of time working with SAO Smith for breakup preparedness with regards to the community center serving as a possible evacuation center. We've involved our maintenance staff and our programming supervisor to do some advanced preparations of the community center, and as well as other town sites that could be affected, such as Wharf Pavilion. We are continuing preparations of the community center this week, including some handouts for Vale Island residents if they were to evacuate and have to use the evacuation, the community center as an evacuation center. I think we have a good plan there, and we should be prepared if there is an evacuation. I will be submitting a new application to vary from public health order requirements regarding the community center summer operations. I think that with recent cases in Yellowknife, I don't see a rush to submit that application at this time. I think that the CPHO and environmental health probably have their hands full at this point. But I've had initial conversations with representatives there, and they were indicating that our aquatic center, there could be some relaxations in some of the current restrictions and an increase in occupancy, both in the aquatic center and in the other spaces within the community center. We're not looking to do a full relaxation or go back to normal operations, but a partial relaxation is what we're looking for. And it seemed favorable in our discussions and walkthrough with one of the representatives last week. We met our Canor funding requirements. We had some reporting that we had to submit for year one commitments. We reported on April 15th. That reporting was tied to the conferencing equipment that we purchased recently. That was $55,000 of conferencing equipment for the community center. There was also $20,000 towards Port Landing for the increase in docking and some landscaping at Port Landing. And there were also some dollars, though limited in year one, for tourism marketing initiatives that are tied to our Haycation promotion. We will be reporting by the end of the week for some MACA funding tied to our multipurpose room fitness equipment purchase and tied to some of the youth programming that we've offered. I'm confident we'll meet that reporting deadline, and we've had a good working relationship with MACA that way going forward. Lastly, I'd like to indicate that we will be submitting a funding application to the Great Trail, formerly known as Trans-Canada Trail. This is regarding 2021 trail improvement project. We've worked with them for the last 2 years at least, and we're in communications with them regarding some of the work we want to continue to do. They seem happy with the work we've previously done, and with the 5-year plan we have, we're updating them and seeing what they're looking to, what they would be interested in supporting for 2021 work. Tied to that work, we've also had communications with NWT Métis Nation. They are interested in supporting via job creation partnership with local Métis, and we're hoping to move forward with that also, again, based on those communications with the NWT Métis Nation. Thank you. Those are my updates.
Thank you, Director. Do we have any questions from council? None noted. Back to SAO Smith. Thank you, Director.
Thank you, Worship. We'll go next to the Director of Public Works and Services.
Thank you, Your Worship. On Public Works side of things, our guys are focusing on just getting things prepped for the spring melt and breakup. So been doing cleaning up any last snow piles that are around in trouble areas, steaming of culverts, ensuring our ditches are flowing smoothly so that we are getting the drainage when everything melts. Also been working on some flood mitigation stuff along with Director of Protective Services and SAO, getting that work taken care of. We had our startup meeting for the zoning bylaw review and updates with the consultant that we awarded that to. So that project is officially underway now. Other than that, we're planning for the springtime curbside cleanup after the May long weekend. So starting on May 25th and working out from there for however long it takes us. I think it's usually a week, maybe 2. And I think that's all the updates from Public Works this week.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Councillor Dewey, go ahead.
Thank you, Worship. On that, so on the zoning bylaw review, do we have like just a general idea of sort of the plan going forward or what that's going to look like? I know that we had some discussion at one point of hopefully involving some locals, maybe having some community consultation work and things like that ongoing with that project. I'm just looking to see sort of kind of a, I guess, schedule or what we're thinking of in terms of that.
Thank you, Worship. Yeah, we don't have an official schedule from the consultant yet. We just had our first startup meeting. They will be providing us with a more detailed schedule for moving forward. Their proposal did include a lot of consultation efforts and items in it, so there will be consultation. We're working on our side of putting together a list of groups and organizations that we feel they should be in contact with for sure. So if there's any suggestions from council, I welcome those. They will also be, the intent is they will be presenting to council early on in the process, just so that we can get initial feedback from council on kind of where they think they're headed and make sure it's in alignment with what council wants to see. And then, of course, there will be more presentations towards the end when we get into the new draft bylaw as well.
Thank you, Director. Deputy Mayor Bouchard, you had a question?
No, my question was the same as Keith's.
Look at that. Okay. Council? Nothing noted. Thank you, Director. SAO Smith.
Thank you, Worship. We'll go next to our, I believe it's our Protective Services Leadership Team. So we've now, Travis Wright has started there. There he is on the screen right now. He's started last week into the position of the Director of Protective Services. He's also holding the title of Deputy Fire Chief. Through some discussions, we decided that it'd be best that Ross hold that title during the breakup and into the start of or the end of his term here and before he starts retirement. Ross will also hold the title of Emergency Coordinator through the breakup that is upcoming. So we're letting Travis off here fairly easy, but I'll let him take the mic here to say hello.
We didn't throw you in the deep end, Director.
I just wanted to say thank you guys for the warm welcome back home, and I look forward to working with all of you for the next few years. Very excited to be here working with you guys. I don't have anything to report tonight. Still getting my feet wet, so I'll turn it over to Ross to give the report for tonight.
Thank you.
So thank you guys.
Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Your Worship. Good evening, Council. Just a few items for tonight. Got some good news items for a change. The new ambulance arrived last week and it's been put into service. It's a major upgrade from what we had before, just because of the newness of it. Unit runs very well, and we're very pleased with what we've got so far. And today ended the last of the work, or just about the end of the work on the comms tower. It's back in place. It's been tested. It works properly with both the EMO and the fire department. And the multiplexer's also been installed, so that's working very well. And as far as breakups concerned, breakups is still underway to the south of us. Sousa Creek got to about 2.7 meters and has now dropped to around 2 meters this afternoon. Chinchaga got up to about 1.55 meters and now dropped down to about 1.4 meters. Levels so far are rising slowly at the border, and there has been slight increase in levels locally. We've had some issues with monitoring equipment at both the West Channel Bridge and the camera and equipment at the falls. We have a new router that should be here tomorrow morning, which will bring West Channel Bridge back up and running. And the problem at the falls is a voltage issue. So I think it's something wrong with our solar panels or something like that. I'll be going out tomorrow morning and working on that to get that back up and running. It was running very well and just sort of dropped off here over the last few days. So hopefully that'll be up and running very quickly. Just so everybody's aware, we're still concerned that there may be some flooding this year. And it's extremely important that residents on Vail Island stay vigilant in preparing for possible flooding. And that ends my report for tonight.
Thank you, Director. Any questions from council? Nope, you're lucky. Another quiet evening. Thank you, Director or Chief Potter. And I will pass it back to SAO Smith.
Thank you, Worship, and hopefully a quiet week on the breakup as well. But we have been all, several on the administrative team are quite busy with the breakup. Certainly benefiting tremendously from having Travis here and Ross working together on it for succession for next year. Just starting off, I just have a few things. I'll start off with the breakup. I'm still involved with the lead on communications and with the registration and evacuation procedures. We did host a public meeting last week, and that was invited to all the public, but focused, of course, on the Vail Island residents. So we did have good attendance. 26 people attended. It's told that is quite high, or maybe the highest that some of our admin and councilors have seen. So good to have people out. We passed on information on preparedness, flood zone area risks, evacuation procedures, communication protocols that would be used, and a handful of questions received, but everything seemed to go well. As the Director of Recreation mentioned, we have had meetings this week to run through our registration and evacuation procedures. That included the Health and Social Services team that are taking a lead in doing the registration activities and providing registration agents. So things are going well there. We're also in meetings with MACA, COVID Secretariat, Health and Social Services, just fine tuning and make sure that we're all on the same page with COVID related procedures and how they impact evacuations. And really, yeah, just keeping an eye on what might be occurring there. We do have some training that's occurring this Thursday with our registration team. We also have our food services volunteers and lead that's taken a lead on that for our evacuation center. Away from breakup, we did receive good news Friday was that we received our funding for approval for our Canada Summer Jobs application through the federal government. So that was for 16 summer student positions and $60,000. We are busy now moving along, especially on the recreation side with recruitment and starting to see summer students starting here right away. So that's good. That's a very important workforce for us during the summer period. We did present, I'm not sure if the finance director maybe missed this one, but we did, in case he did, we did present our fees and charges omnibus bylaw to the finance committee on last week. And that went through, and we expect to bring that to council after the handling of the taxi bylaw and the utilities bylaw. Outside of that, another good announcement was that we did receive more funding through the COVID Restart program. That's an additional $160,000 that wasn't budgeted, but it's for expenses and revenue loss associated with COVID and ensuring that we're building resiliency for any future surges or issues that occur. And my last item was just a note that we did prepare, Mayor Jameson actually met with liquor legislation folks to discuss changes or potential changes to that act we did consult with the community, various community groups on that one. And then that's all I have for today.
Thank you. SAO. So any questions from council for our SAO? Quiet bunch tonight. Okay, so moving on, item 8A, new business, under new business. Item 8A is a lease assignment parcel 8. Looking for a motion. Deputy Mayor Bouchard, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Worship. I move that the council of Town of Haver approves the assignment of sublease for portion 8 airport lands from Sheldon Whitlock to Maxine Gauthier to Rod Gray and Kathy Gray.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Dewey. Any questions to the motion? None being noted. All in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Item 8B, Family Support Center. Looking for a motion. Go ahead, Councillor Willows.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Full disclosure, I worked closely with the Women's Shelter back in 2017 to develop these plans with Stantec, so I'm very happy and excited to see this moving forward. And with that, the Council of the Town of Hay River review and approve at their discretion development permit application number D21017 to allow the construction of a new family support center to replace the previous Women's Resource Center.
Seconded by Councillor Dewey. Any questions to the motion? Go ahead, Councillor Dewey.
Thank you, Worship. And yeah, I looking forward as well to seeing this coming to fruition. I know they've been working and waiting for this for a very long time. I remember when Councillor Willows was working with them and came in to present the plan to council. It seems like a lot longer than 2017, but the only kind of question, maybe concern that I have is, when they're, if they're planning on breaking ground right away this summer, it might kind of coincide with our work that we're doing on Riverview Drive. And I just, I'm sure that they're aware of it, but maybe it'd be an idea to maybe see if there's a way that they could have some of their stuff on site so that it's not such a hassle to get building materials and whatnot moved over to their location for them.
Well noted. And I'm sure that they can pass that along. Okay, any further comments or questions? All in favor? Motion carries. Exciting news indeed. Good for them. Item number 9, bylaws. 9A, bylaw 2428, acquisition of lot 1371, plan 1126, third and final reading. Looking for a motion. Councillor Dewey, go ahead.
Thank you, Worship. I'll move third and final reading of bylaw number 2428/LND/21.
Seconded by Councillor Dufert. Any questions to the motion? None being noted. All in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Item 9B, bylaw 1786K, utility bylaw amendment, second reading. Looking for a motion. Councillor Dufert, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll move second reading of bylaw number 1786/utility/01, being a bylaw to provide for the establishment, operation, maintenance, and alteration of a water supply and sewage system, and for levying and collecting of water and sewage service charges.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Willows. Any questions to the motion? Deputy Mayor, go ahead.
Yeah, and I think I brought it up last time it came forward. I just have concerns that I know we had approved the rate increases for some of this stuff, but one of the areas of concern that I've heard of is just the rate that we have for caretakers residents in the commercial areas and stuff like that. I know we only have maybe a handful, maybe a dozen of them. And some people are concerned of the rates that we're charging for those facilities. Some of them are tied to a business, but not necessarily a business deduction. So, I know that's an area of concern when that came forward, and I know we're changing the bylaw to show what our rates, what it really costs us to produce and provide water. But that's an area of concern that's been brought up to me, and I think several times in the community. So we didn't really discuss that or review that. So it's just an area that I think should be reduced to a more reasonable amount. But
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I too have heard concerns, and I'm sure those of us who have been here for a bit remember over the years. And I agree that maybe we can ask administration to take a look at what it might look like for a caretaker's rate, something that would reflect more fairly, I guess, for those people, and see and bring it back for third reading, because that seems to be the one thing that we have heard over and over again as council and past councils. So I think that would be a fair request. I mean, it doesn't have to be approved, but let's take a look at what it could look like. Any other further comments, concerns? Okay, none being noted, all in favor? Second reading. How many was that? Sorry, guys, show of hands, please. Do we have opposed? 1, 2, 3. So this is 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay, motion carries. Thank you. And we have no item 10. So I am looking at Councillor Willow's item number 11.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Motion to adjourn.
Thank you all. Hope
Good
you have-
night.
and
thank
hope-
you.
Nice slow melt. Have a great week, everyone.